This is MJ. I love comics, particularly the Marvel comics. I haven't read any of the GHOSTBUSTERS comics from, I think IDW was doing them, maybe even Boom Studios at some point. I don't know. But I also love Ghostbusters, and a trailer for this Ghostbusters Afterlife just came out today. I watched it not long ago, and I wanted to set aside some time to talk about it. So I'm just going to be real succinct about it as much as I can. I really like the trailer. I'm excited for this movie. It looks good. It feels good. I got chills during the trailer. It feels like it's very much playing to nostalgia. I think the gunner seat, as they call it in the trailer, coming out of the Ecto-1, I believe that's from a toy, which is pretty cool. Or maybe it was in the real Ghostbusters cartoon. I don't know. But I don't remember how old I am. I'm somewhere between 32 and 33. You'd have to ask my wife to know for sure. But this trailer looked good to me as somebody who watched the Ghostbusters movies as a kid, who watched a little bit of the real Ghostbusters cartoon as a kid, who had some Ghostbusters toys. My birthday's around Halloween, so I would have Halloween-themed birthday parties, and I remember getting this really awesome visor thing, and like, I don't know, like the little reader thingy-mabobber with the antennae that go back and forth that Egon would always use. And being nerdy, and I think I even sensed as a kid, I really identified with Egon. So seeing a spoilers, or I don't know, this is a girl holding onto the I can't even remember what the thing's called, but the device that detects the presence of ghosts. What is it, the ectospectrometer or whatever? Anyway, seeing her walking around with that, and seeing all the old gear. Whew, this is going to sound really lame, but it felt like coming home. I, in addition to my enjoyment of comics, also enjoy Star Wars a lot. I feel like this nostalgia trailer hits a lot better than the Force Awakens nostalgia trailers. I have a lot more affection for Star Wars because there's a lot more material for Star Wars that I've enjoyed over the years, but so, like, when The Force Awakens was coming out and such, I was pretty excited about that because I thought it would never continue. Or, well, that's not true. I knew it would continue at some point, but I thought it would be, years in the future, 5-10 years in the future, past when, they started making the prequels. I didn't see... So, anyway, the movie looks really good. I love the... Gosh, it has this nostalgic feel, but there's also a feeling of like mystery and suspense and wonder. I got a sense of wonder watching the trailer. As the older brother and the younger sister, I guess this is a girl, the kid in the spectacles, I thought it was just a boy, like a boy. I've got a beard and, a rough manly voice and whatnot. And I don't know, I have daughters, and I wasn't expecting for that child to be, I thought it was just a kid, like a nerdy, skinny boy with curly, longish hair and glasses. Like, there's lots of those. But apparently, I jumped onto Twitter after I saw the trailer, and I saw people kind of griping about, oh, this is going to be so well received, where the 2016 reboot with the all-female cast wasn't well received, and like, these guys are going to be shocked when they find out it's a little girl. And I'm going to say, yeah, maybe, I guess. And I'm not one of those people who hated the 2016 Ghostbusters movie. I actually didn't see the whole thing. I saw about half of it when I was over at someone's house. And I thought it was fine. Most of the jokes, landed okay for me. But I don't think I think I got to them doing like one scene of ghostbusting. And then we like had to leave because we were going somewhere. But the movie was on at the time. Didn't have a problem with it. I thought that Chris Hemsworth, I thought he was played like too dumb. Like Janine was never that dumb. But I got that they were going with him as like a, male bimbo or whatever, and it didn't bother me. I didn't like it. Whereas Janine always seemed cool. Like, she would kind of dunk on the guys or like give them a hard, like, she has the great line when the cop comes with Rick Moranis. She says dropping off or picking up, and her deadpan delivery. Like, Annie Potts did a great job. I really liked how they used her in both movies, or the character of Janine, and like in the cartoon she's really cool too, and there's like the little bit of a romance that you get to see between her and Egon carried on in like Extreme Ghostbusters, I'm pretty sure. But anyway, basically, I just want to say my thoughts are, I like this. I don't get all the controversy over Ghostbusters having an all-female cast. I have no problem with that. If this little girl, 12-year-old or however old she is the lead of the story, and she happens to be Egon's, granddaughter or whatever, like, who cares? That's fine with me. It doesn't bother me. It's neat. It's a neat twist on things. Anyway, I'm just going to talk a little bit more about, like, my speculation. I suspect that this is going to be more of a family story, like, the brother is driving the Ecto-1, because he's older and has longer legs and whatnot, and he probably has driving experience, so he drives the Ecto-1. And I didn't, like, they look so similar, the brother and sister, that when he was starting the car, I thought, like, is that the kid starting the car? Like, I guess a kid could drive the car, but it just went by so fast I didn't get it at first, but now I understand. But I could see, like, the grandson or the granddaughter and the grandson, her older brother, like, working together to do this stuff. And then, like, Paul Rudd's in there, and Paul Rudd is just so damn charming. I could watch him in anything probably. I'm, in my early 30s, so, like, I saw Clueless as a kid, and I remember him in there, and, like, that's where I know him from. And I don't know, he's just so cool. He's, like, got this disarming charm, and, like, you're kind of cool with anything he does, or at least I am. And his role as this, science teacher or whatever during, is it summer or not? I can't quite remember. I think they've moved there over the summer, because the brother says, hey, you remember that summer we died under the table? Anyway, maybe that was towards the end of summer, and then they start school, and then he gets involved. But, like, he, knows about these, Ghostbusters. He knows a little bit about their history, and then he realizes that, the kid's a Spangler, or a, descendant of a Spangler. I don't know if his daughter took on the surname. So, like, I don't know if that's, if he'd be the maternal or paternal grandparent or grandfather to these kids or what, and if that blonde lady's his daughter or not, who knows. Anyway, but it's all, it feels like it's going to be, like, kid Ghostbusters, but it almost feels to me more like a family Ghostbusters. So, like, I definitely see the girl with the glasses, her older brother, and Paul Rudd's character getting involved in, like, wanting to help the kids, especially because they're children, they're young teens, whatever. You could set it up so that they can be Ghostbusters on their own, but I think it'd be cooler to have, like, a cast that's multi-generational, on a single team doing stuff. So, like, even if mom, jumped in there, that would be super cool. And I don't think that would be woke or anything. It would make sense for a mother to want to protect her children and get involved in that way. Like, if you look back to the frontier days, like, women with shotguns, even early Californian history, prostitutes, women running brothels, they would have weapons to arm themselves as well, to protect themselves from harm. And actually, if you check out books such as Thaddeus Russell's Renegade History of the United States, you could learn that madams, the heads of brothels, had guns proudly displayed on them, and they were like power brokers that helped build up cities and stuff. Anyway, that's another history thing you can look into if you want. But I'm going to stop talking about those things and shift to my concerns. My concerns are the trailer. While it did give me chills, the way there was kind of piano music playing, which there is legitimately, some piano music played, and I wonder if it was, like, from Dana's apartment, some of the notes that, whatever his name was hitting there. I can't remember the guy, but the guy. The guy everybody loves. Who I think is just okay. Anyway, I like Bill Murray, but the character in the movie, he's not my favorite Ghostbuster, but he is funny. Anyway, my concerns are that, like, I was so excited for the Star Wars sequel movies, and I've been a little bit let down, although I do love Last Jedi. Don't hold that against me. I just think it's a really neat movie. It does crazy things like George Lucas would do, because he was a crazy guy, or is a crazy guy, as far as being bold and pushing things. Anyway, enough talk about that. But I don't like the Abramsiness of, like, TFA, how it felt like a retread. I don't want this movie to feel like a retread. And it feels like it might be a retread of The Force Awakens a little bit. No, like, even, like, Abrams' Star Trek movie, the ship in the cornfield in Arkansas or Kansas or wherever they were, like, them driving the Ecto-1 through the field with the long, dead grass, it reminded me of that. And just, I'm a little bit concerned that it's going to be trying to, like, hit your nostalgia buttons too hard, and that it will end up being weird. But I think the tone of this versus, like, the all-female Ghostbusters, this just seems like it's just telling another Ghostbusters story. It happens to have a female lead, I guess, if that's what, the mini Egonette is going to be. But it doesn't feel like it's trying to, like, prove a point or have an agenda, really. And, like, that's what I want my stories to be. I don't know, man. Like, I grew up loving Buffy, and I didn't realize or didn't know like what Joss Whedon's agenda was or whatever. I just like, oh, this is cool. It's a female hero and she's kicking butt, just like I don't know, like Murphy and RoboCop, or I don't know. There's like tons of cool ladies who do awesome stuff, or like doing a new, anyway. So I have a weird, diverse media background that's actually more relevant to today's pop culture landscape, but I don't want to talk about that. I'm actually, you know what, I'm gonna pivot and redouble back on that and say another cool female hero who I really liked was, I can't remember her name, Kylie, I think, from Extreme Ghostbusters from the 90s. Now, another one of the comments I saw online was saying that, oh, all these people are gonna be angry about the female Ghostbusters, that was a comedy like the original Ghostbusters, but that, this trailer had zero jokes in it, zero charm, zero wit, zero humor, which I think there was like 1% of humor, wit, and charm. Well, humor and wit, there was definitely charm. Well, there were no outright jokes in this trailer, but that doesn't really matter to me, because to me, I don't know if it was the age I was at when I was exposed to Ghostbusters or what it was, Ghostbusters has always been deadly serious to me. I see that it is ranked as a comedy, its genre is comedy, however, it always felt very serious to me, and the threats felt real and scary. Some of them goofy, like Slimer, but it felt like a real thing, and it felt almost like it was funny because it had wise crackers, wise asses. The cracker thing was not white people. I'm saying wise crack. Anyway, it had smart Alex in the cast who had humor between them, and there was humor because of the characters. Not that it was an actual comedy. It felt very serious to me. The scene of Dana getting in her chair and those arms reach out and grab her and suck her into the other room, or that's terrifying stuff, man. But I watched Extreme Ghostbusters as a kid, and I don't know when it aired, sometime between 10 and 13 for me, I was probably 11 when it aired, and I thought it was legit. It felt like a little kid's, or no, like a child-friendlier version of X-Files for kids, but through Ghostbusters a little bit. And right now, I want to suggest to you that if you're excited about this movie, if it's reminding you of your affection for Ghostbusters, you should go check out Extreme Ghostbusters, which, as I remember, has a very cool, and I watched the first episode recently with my kids, and they seemed to like it, which was fun for me. But I think I'm going to watch it on my own now, because I'm so excited about Ghostbusters coming back in this way, in the same continuity. Extreme Ghostbusters is a retelling, or no, it's not a retelling. It's not a retelling, it's not a reset, which is actually something that did disappoint me about the 2016 one. I wanted to continue living in this world with these crazy characters, or with these interesting characters, really. Anyway, Extreme Ghostbusters was a continuation of the story, and to me it felt like, oh, this is like the third movie, basically, in a series form. And that's really cool, because I know these characters, and I know the things they've gone through, and Slimer's there, Janine's there, Egon's there, the other guys have gone away, but they come back in this really cool, I kind of think it's the finale of the series, but I also feel like I remember the series just ended and it got cut short, and there was more story to be told, and it didn't get renewed or something. Anyway, it was a big deal for me. I was very upset when the show ended, because I wanted more of these characters. But Extreme Ghostbusters, maybe because it's the 90s, I don't know, maybe because they just wanted to do something different, has a really cool, interesting, diverse cast. There's a black guy who's a mechanic. There's a smart aleck wannabe Lothario, who's this I think he's a Puerto Rican guy, because they're in New York. There's a lot of Puerto Ricans there. Anyway, there's a white guy in a wheelchair who doesn't make a big deal of himself being he's just yeah, I'm in a wheelchair, my legs don't work, whatever. They address it sort of a little bit, but he just gets to be a cool guy, and he has different personality traits. And then Kylie, she's the trapper among them, which is kind of funny. But she's a really interesting, rounded character, and the first episode involves her wanting to use some of the Spengler tech. I'm just gonna call it that for the time being, or for argument's sake, in an interesting way, because there's something that she's looking for, and she's gothic. She has this dark look to her, but it's a bit of a shell. She's got an attitude. She's tough. She's cool. It's just a really interesting character, and she was honestly always my favorite of the Extreme Ghostbusters cast, besides Egon, because I think they made Egon pretty cool, and I've always loved Janine just because she's such a fun character. Gosh, I mean, if from my memories, if they can make Egonette, this new girl, as cool as Kylie was in my memories of her, then I think her name's Kylie. I just watched the one episode and got a lot of kids and a baby, so like there's a lot of stuff going on. Like this will be a great movie, and I really like the feel of what has been presented so far. And I think you should go check out Extreme Ghostbusters. It's on Hulu. Apparently there are like 40 episodes of it, and you can go watch it now, all of it. Go do it. Go!